Will accounting ever become irrelevant? What happens when 50% of your job is done by AI or automation or technology? What happens when the things that clients value have been the things you've done mostly over the years? Irrelevance equals unemployment. Advisory, visibility, authority, they all equal not just survival, but competitive advantage and career choice, autonomy, flexibility. And AI is painted as the enemy often for accountants because it's the thing that wipes out jobs, it erases careers, it takes away a lot of, particularly the entry level at accounting has done in the past. The accountants that thrive are the ones that partner with technology. Technology becomes an enabler and they make the technology work for them and not against them. Will accounting ever become irrelevant? What happens when 50% of your job is done by AI or automation or technology? What happens when the things that clients value have been the things you've done mostly over the years, but the world is changing and you need to be more of an advisor than an order taker and a compliance machine. The world is changing. And artificial intelligence, large language models, whatever you want to call it, private equity, all these disruptors are changing the game for accountants. This is the Accounting Influencers podcast. We're on a series called Compliance to Counsel, spelled SEL, the way accounting professionals advise their clients and how this is the way you mitigate becoming irrelevant and priced out as a commodity in this crazy world. So let me bring you up to date with where we're at. This is a 6-part series, and episode 1, we looked at the automation and AI tsunami, talked about how AI is taking over 50% of compliance tasks. 340,000 accountants have left the US accounting profession in the last 3 years. Compliance, I'm not saying it's collapsing, that's very emotive, but compliance is being devalued, and certainly there's downward pressure on compliance fees. Episode 2, we unpack the demand sides. Who's driving this? Clients obviously are. The expectations are going up. They want different. They want more. They don't want form fillers. They want advisors, true, trusted advisors. And I'm not here to debate what CAS or Complete or client advisory services, client accounting services, whatever it is. I'm not here to define what advisory is, but let's just say it's more than compliance. I talked about it last time as compliance plus, and whatever you insert that plus to be, and it's different for different people. It might be just management reports and some forecasting and a bit of AI integration. It might be a whole lot more, and you can go way beyond the bookkeeping side of things to provide value for clients. Yeah, clients' expectations are going up. 70% of owners of small, medium enterprises, businesses said they would switch firms. 70% for a more proactive advice, more proactive accounting advisors. So that's happening. People are switching firms all the time. Loyalty is a thing of the past. In episode 3, we looked at mindset, how you need to shift the way you think and the way you upskill and think about what's next and not what has happened. That's the attitude you need to take to clients in your conversations to be very future focused. And then episode 4, I talked about the playbook. So we came up with a 5-part plan. Repackage what you're doing, reprice what you're doing, retrain yourself, rebrand yourself, and not replace yourself, but check in on episode 4 of the series and you will get how to make the shift. So this is Accounting Influencers, shortly to be rebranded actually to Accounting Voices. A few changes in the show. I'm Rob Brown, your host. This is part 5 of a 6-part series from Compliance to Counsel, the Accountant's Survival Guide in the Age of AI. And this show is where ambitious or genuine, high integrity accountants get the foresight, the playbook, the skills, the insights they need to stay visible, stay authoritative, stay relevant, stay influential. The soundbite we've used before, irrelevance equals unemployment. And given the job market at the moment, that's not a place that you want to be. So today we're going to talk about the technology. Now, I am not a techie. I'm not geeky. I'm not nerdy. And a lot of accountants are not. But these days, you've got to know more than how to turn a computer on and off. And AI is painted as the enemy often for accountants because it's the thing that wipes out jobs, it erases careers, it takes away a lot of, particularly the entry level at accounting has done in the past. But the accountants that thrive are the ones that partner with technology. Technology becomes an enabler and they make the technology work for them and not against them. So we know AI is not going away. We know automation is standard now. Clients know that you can do audits almost at the push of a button. I'm not demeaning what you do. There's some very complex audits, but look, here's the reality. Firms that use technology that enables advisory work, casting scenario planning, dashboards, you name it, use cases, they grow 30% faster than those that stay compliance only. And that comes from a Fathom HQ study of firms around the world. That's not just me saying that. So let me say that again. Firms that use advisory technology grow 30% faster than those that stay compliance only and stick to that legacy technology. So tech is not the threat here. Tech is the multiplier. You get that. Think about it this way. Compliance data, and as accounting professionals, you are the guardians of data. It's traditionally backward looking. And the tech turns that into forward looking, future focused insights. So it moves you from here's what's happened to here's what is going to happen, and here's what it means for you, and here's what to do next. So we're shifting those conversations, hopefully before your clients ask you to, so you can say to them, have you thought about this, and what's your plan if this happens? And you get them thinking about the future. And that shift is going to make you indispensable. It's going to make you super valuable, referable, recommendable, employable, promotable. Insert your own ubble there. But the danger is obvious, isn't it? If you resist this, you will be left behind. I spoke to a very progressive accountant here in the UK just yesterday, and he said to me, accountants do not realize how quickly they are becoming irrelevant. They do not realize how quickly they are getting behind because the technology is moving so fast. He's an accountant, but he said to me, I'm building every day. I'm building workflows. I'm building automations. He's got thousands of them. Now, he's an outlier for sure, but he said there's so much happening so fast. Even the technology people are falling behind. So yes, I'm not saying you have to start writing code and become a nerd and a geek and everything else, but this danger is very obvious. You don't want to be left behind. The clients will not wait. A lot of them are further on than you. They want to use, well, they're already using dashboards in every part of their life, whatever dashboards looks like, but there's banking apps, there's integrations, there's fitness apps, there's analytics for everything. And if their accountant doesn't give them this same instant clarity, instant information, in time information, and the insights and advice that goes with that, they're going to find someone who will. And there are firms that will. Even if they're in smaller boutique firms, they will go to an accountant that gets them and that can move as fast as they want to move. So we're going to break this episode 5 on the technology into 3 steps. And I'm keeping this basic for me. I'm a former high school math teacher. I've been on the record for that. I'm a part qualified accountant, but I am not a tech native. I'm not a digital native like some of you guys are. So let's look at these steps. Automate, analyze, advise. So step 1, automate. So this is letting the machines handle the heavy lifting, the reconciliations, the data entry, the tax prep, the audit sampling. Gives you time to work on other things. It lowers your cost base. That's what I mean by automation. And you're already using a lot of automation tools to streamline your workflows and make things easier. So that's probably the entry level. Then analyze. That's using tools to highlight patterns, trends, risks, draw insights. These are dashboards, KPI tracking, cash flow forecasting. It's beyond management reporting because that's pretty much automation. You can press buttons and get management reports. But here in Analyze, we want the stories behind the numbers. We want the narrative that the numbers and the data tells us. That's what your clients are looking for. That's what starts to constitute advice. And then that is the third one. It's advise, isn't it? It's what you do on the back of that, what you bring to the client, what propositions or options you put in front of them, how you cause them to take action to make good things happen or mitigate bad things. And you're translating the analysis into decisions, actions, strategy. So the tech does the heavy lifting. You've still got to communicate it. So you've got an influence role here in embracing the technology. Now, I don't want to specifically name names on technology you should be using. I do know that when accountants choose technology, there's 2 or 3 criteria they judge it. And to be honest, accountants as a breed don't buy technology well, and it's not completely your fault. The vendors give really good sales promises and marketing messages that are alluring and promising everything like AI integration, when really it's just a bit of data scraping or some bot. So they're not always genuine in what they're offering, but it's so bewildering, isn't it? As an accounting professional, particularly as a CTO, CIO role, you've got that job of integrating what you buy with everything else. So that's one of the considerations. How does it integrate with what we've got, with our legacy systems, with cloud, with our people, with our clients, with our industry, our niches? Another thing is reputation. Clients go to their friends, their colleagues. What are you using for this? I compare it to that look over the garden wall. What are you growing? How are you cultivating this? Or look in your medicine cabinet. What are you taking for this? What works for this with you? And we ask one another. We're in communities. We're in networks. We go out there. We trust our friends and peers more than we trust corporate brands and software vendors and service providers. So there's loads of management reporting tools. There's loads of automations and apps and solutions out there for linking compliance to advisory, for doing performance dashboards, AI-driven forecasting tools that plug straight into cloud platforms. These are not gimmicks. These are the infrastructure for modern advisory. And if these sound odd to you or unfamiliar, you've got some work to do. And this is not an age thing either. I'm a little bit older, but I know what these things are. And granted, I'm not in an accounting practice, but you will probably be aware of these. And if not, talk to somebody that is old or young, because these should be very much part of the fabric of your firm. So when we think about technology for various things to do with advisory, here's the kicker. You don't need to be a tech genius to use them. You don't need to be Python fluent. You just need to be curious. You need to experiment. You need to make the space to play with these things. You don't need to do AI courses. And there's loads of courses out there, isn't there? You don't need to watch videos so much. You just need to play and make the time to play. Have a playground, experiment, be curious, and put yourself in front of clients with a focus on these kind of future thinking outputs. The clients don't necessarily want to see a dashboard. They want to hear from you what that dashboard means to them, what it is actually saying about them and their business. So a quick example, a firm in London used to send clients year-end packs. They called them packs. They put a load of great things in and it looked great, but now they don't send it because there'd be the year-end accounts and management accounts and all of these different things that they thought might be valuable, but it was basically a report. But now they send not an annual thing, but quarterly dashboards, and they hold regular decision meetings. Some of these are off the clock, some of these are on the clock. In the first year, they doubled their fees because they started to change the way they delivered stuff and the things that they were talking about and what they presented to the client. And the partner of the firm said the difference was simple. This was the quote: they stopped giving clients data and started giving them answers. So stop giving data and start giving direction. There's another way to put it. So to wrap this up, and we always try and make this practical. Those of you that are way beyond what I'm saying right now, I don't mean to dumb it down. Your job is to mentor and coach and train others around, and even be a thought leader, be an opinion shaper, be someone that puts stuff out there to be a force for good in the profession. It's not just lining your own pockets, but if you are very adept with this, very comfortable with it, share it with others and be one of the good guys. So think about that. So 5 actions you can take to make technology your ally. Number 1, trial one advisory tool this month. Pick one, play with it, make some mistakes, chat to some other people about it. Just have a play. You might ditch it. It might give you something, but you're becoming more adept at experimenting, more adept at trying things and keeping your brain pliable. So that's number 1, trial something, trial one tool. Number 2, automate one compliance task that you still do manually. Free up your time. A million things. It might not even be a compliance task, but it might be something in your workflow around emails or client management or even business development or lead generation. Just something in your workflow, your everyday, that is a compliance task. It's an admin task that you do manually. Could be some spreadsheet work, and free up your time by automating it, whatever that means. And keep curious about asking other people what they're doing with that. Number 3, create a dashboard for one client and talk them through it. It could be your most friendly client that will be very forgiving. It could be off the clock and they will just let you make mistakes and stumble through it and trial it and give you some feedback. It could be a client that really doesn't matter, that if you lost them, worst case scenario, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. So you can go there and make your mistakes and experiment and get things wrong. Whatever scenario you choose, I'm saying get in front of a client with a dashboard and some narratives, some stories to talk about behind the numbers and what it means. And you don't have to have charged them for advisory at that point. You're just getting some feedback to say, has this been useful? And you can preface it by saying, I know we've got our year end coming up and I would normally come to you with some management accounts at the end of the year, but can we meet 6 months before that? Because I've been playing with these dashboards and I've created something for you that might be of use to you, and I'd love to run it past you and see what you think. That's not hard, is it? Number 4, storytelling. Practice the telling of the story of the data in plain language. So forget the 3-word acronyms and the posh job talk, jargon, things like that. These are business people. These are ordinary folk, if you like. They'll have their own vocabulary and their own acronyms and abbreviations, but you're the expert. You're the advisor, you're the professional, you're generally the one with the answers, but you do have to speak their language and operate with their vocabulary. So you've got to give it straight. And you should get used to saying something in 2 minutes and not 5 minutes. I love this quote. I've used it before in many of my speeches. Why use a policeman in an automobile when a cop in a car will do? I'll say that again. Why use a policeman? That's an English term. Why use a policeman in an automobile? That's the American term. When a cop in a car will do. Do you see how they say the same things? They evoke the same response, but one of them's short, sharp, bang, to the point, boom. You're in, you deliver, you're out. You let the client, you let the audience take that in and speak and come back to you. So there is an art to this. There is a little bit of skill involved in saying, okay, what does this data mean and how can I communicate this to the client in a meaningful way in plain language? That's number 4. And number 5 is get into the habit of sharing, putting stuff out there, either publicly or internally with your team. But think about a one tech-driven insight, one thought, one observation, one commentary, one criticism, and share it with your team, with your firm, or on LinkedIn. It doesn't matter if it gets watched. It just gets you into the discipline of creating stuff and articulating your thoughts and your journey. I'm not saying journaling, but you get the idea. You're just putting it out there and sharing your experience. And people do love that. You don't need to get loads of likes and followers, but people will read it. So let's bring it home now. Tech is not the enemy. It's your new staff member. It's your new friend. It's your new intern. It can be the analyst that never sleeps. It can be the intern that never needs a day off, never needs pain, but only if you know how to use it. Tech is weaponry, but it's got to be deployed, hasn't it? And if you don't, it's going to replace you instead of empower you. That's a fact. It's already happening with some people who either will not or cannot adapt to the new world of technology. So I'm encouraging you here to stay influential, stay relevant. If you want help with being more vocal and visible, do reach out to me. There's a service I provide for accounting leaders and accounting firm owners that want to be out there more, but they don't like recording to a webcam. They don't like writing thought leadership articles. And I interview them once a month in a fireside chat, and we talk about the things that you need to be seen talking about. And we turn that 30-40 minute interview into great video snippets that are captioned and branded and thought leadership pieces. And we give you this whole content thing almost in a box that you put out there. And it's done in 30-40 minutes. So it's great if you're time poor. Talk to me about that. It might be a really good fit for you or people in your firm. So let's close this down now. It's going to either replace you or empower you. We get that. The difference is whether you step in and you use it with automating, advising. That's how you turn technology into an ally. And then I gave you a few practical tips at the end that you can go through. I said, trial one tool, automate one task, create one dashboard and talk through it with one client, practice telling a story of data in plain language, and share a tech-driven insight every week. You do that, you're going to be well on the way. So this is episode 5 in this 6-part series, Compliance to Counsel. Episode 1 was the threat, 2 was the demand, 3 was the mindset, 4 was the playbook, 5 was today, that was the technology is your ally, and 6 we're going to finish with the most important asset of all is your personal brand as career insurance. How do you stay top of mind and relevant in this crazy world? If you found this useful, subscribe to our YouTube channel, share this episode, this show with your friends. Really appreciate that. I'm going to be making some announcements soon on other shows that I'm bringing out, and they're going to be AI tech-based and private equity M&A based. So those are exciting 2 shows. Check out another couple of shows that I am involved with. Leaders of the Ledger comes from CPA Practice Advisor, where we interview some of accounting's rising influencers and talk about what makes them influential and the great things they are doing. And I'm also proud to be hosting Inside Public Accounting with Chelsea Summers. They do the Rosenberg survey, the IPA 500, and lots of other brilliant research, and we tell the stories behind those numbers. So irrelevance equals unemployment. Advisory, visibility, authority, they all equal not just survival, but competitive advantage and career choice, autonomy, flexibility. You go ahead, do what you need to do. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next episode of the Accounting Influencers, soon to be the Accounting Voices podcast.